Welcome to Oregon State University. This is Kelly Engineering Center, home of the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. I'm Jess, I'm one of the instructors here. This video is intended to introduce you to Oregon State's Professional Computer Science online degree program. Over the next few minutes, we'll talk about bite-sized sections of learning materials, interaction tools, evaluation types, and feedback methods. On campus and online can be taught a lot differently for very many reasons. We take the time and effort to separate lectures, readings, discussions, questions, group activities, and quizzes into separate pieces so that you don't have to go through talking about a quiz when you're just trying to look up lecture information or when you're just trying to find some reading. This will make it seem like there's less time being spent on lectures than on campus, but really we've just separated out into separate smaller portions. So first, let's talk a little bit about how people have access to the learning materials. We use a number of tools, one of which includes Blackboard at the moment. Gives us an easy way to store course content, reading, that sort of thing. But before we even talk about those resources, I need to mention that any person learning needs to really be aware of what they're learning. So they should scan ahead, find out what things are going on, what topics are going to be covered, so that when they actually read about it or hear about it, they have a place in their mind to actually hold that information. So on Blackboard, we use certain things in order to facilitate this. We use announcements in order to give information up to date, show updates, that sort of thing. We use course information to store the syllabus or the calendar. Any other relevant information might be there that is sort of course related but not content related. We have a location for assignments, which includes the reading materials, it includes lectures, it includes any sort of practice stuff that we might find, websites. We usually include a link to discussion, which will be places like Piazza or IRC or some other place where you can chat. And then we have a place where grades are stored. And this is a great way for students to get direct feedback. This hopefully pushes you to look for other places that you can get information to practice, searching the internet, that sort of thing. So next, let's talk about interaction and discussion. This is the part that I like best about these courses. Interacting with others and discussing things with others is a really good way to improve your learning. We use several different kinds of communication in order to help people. We use things like Blackboard forums and Piazza, these sort of carefully constructed, more easily archived information. People can search through it pretty easily. Then we use sort of this quick and easy thing, chat, IRC, Google Chat, these sorts of things in order for people to have a way of quickly asking questions, quickly getting answers. And then we also use conferencing tools like Adobe Connect and Google Hangout. They tend to be a lot more involved in getting information across, but you can have a lot more detail. You can have video chat, you can have voice chat, you can have a whiteboard, all these sorts of things. One of the important things that using all these in one course sort of demonstrates is that in a complex project, learning lots of different tools fairly quickly is really common. Now onto the part that students like to hear about, how we plan to evaluate their work. So again, we use many different ways of evaluating things with different levels of resources available so that we can test different aspects of what people are learning. We use participation a lot, things like discussion and labs, just to expose you to the materials that we're covering. Usually this is done with any number of resources available to you. We use quizzes to test theory and abstract ideas. We use group work and individual projects in order to test whether or not, with a little bit of time and a lot of practice, you're able to get the projects out that you want. That tends to be the part that students focus on a lot. And then exams, where you tend to have fewer resources, and we just want to know whether or not you can apply all those design techniques you've learned in computer science. Taking a class online is a bit different than taking a class on campus. Hopefully you now know what it's like to take a class using an online learning system. Learning this way can be challenging, but a rewarding way of learning. But remember, we're all in this together, so I hope to see you online.